Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and for today's review we're going to take a look at the new 7-inch DC Collectibles New 52 Justice League Stargirl figure. Now this figure comes packaged in your standardized DC Collectibles window box type packaging. You've got the Justice League logo up at the top. The packaging is done in white and blue colors to match the character. And then the figure's clearly displayed in the window box packaging, and you've got the name of the character down below. On the one side you have the darkened in image of the character, and then on the other you have an image of the actual figure, and it tells us it's sculpted by Jack Matthews. And then on the back you have a thumbnail image of the figure, and then a look at some other figures from DC Collectibles' New 52 line. Zatanna, Hawkman, which has not yet been released, and Constantine. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging, and the character comes in a very patriotic type costume. Most of it's blue on the pants and the shirt, with some red gloves, belt, and boots, and then she's got the white star on her chest, and then she's got some stars on her arm. She's got the midsection of the figure is basically bare with skin. She does have a somewhat pale complexion with the skin tones. And then on the white, on the star on her chest, you can see a little bit of blue bleeding through. It's not too noticeable, but when you look at it closely, you can see a little bit of blue. She's got some wash on her hair, her blonde hair, yellow, and then she's got some darker yellow wash mixed in to give it some added texture. The belt on the figure, on the front and the back side of the belt are actually sculpted on the figure, but then it looks like the pouches are a separate part, which are just glued onto the sides of the hips of the figure. And I gotta say that for the most part it looks okay, but depending on the angle that you look at it, it does kind of give her that appearance that she has some very wide hips. So I don't know, it might just be a preference, but I don't know if I like that too much or not. But overall, the detail on the figure is pretty good. I can't say it's a super exciting looking figure to me, but there's nothing terrible looking about the figure either. So I don't know if it's just I'm not that big of a fan of the character or what, but it's just, when I look at the figure, it's just not a terribly exciting looking figure. But that's more of a personal preference than anything. Also on the eyes, I'll note, this has kind of been a common thing with female figures from this line recently, and she has that almost wide-eyed look to it. It's not really cross-eyed, but definitely when you look at it closely, it looks like, her eyes are open really, really wide. With the way they've painted the pupils, and she's got blue eyes with some black pupils and then some white off to the side. Certainly it's looked far worse with figures in the past, like the Supergirl figure that I reviewed, where she had just really bad cross eyes. It's nowhere near like that, but I don't really like that wide-eyed look that they've been giving a lot of these female figures lately. Comes with one accessory, her staff that you see her holding in the comics. It's painted with a gold metallic type paint, and it's just a stiff piece of plastic. She has one hand that's sculpted open where she can hold it. The other hand is sculpted closed, so she can only hold it in her right hand. And you kind of just have to push it down from the top and push it through, and then she holds it pretty good. The figure stands at a little bit over 6.5 inches tall. Here's a comparison with her with the New 52 Catwoman figure, and she's a little bit taller than Catwoman. And then here she is next to the New 52 Martian Manhunter figure, and you can see she's shorter. So the scale for the most part seems to be pretty good to me. Articulation is pretty standard with what we see with most of the DC collectible figures. I will note, this is basically Stargirl's part of the Justice League America team, and out of all the Justice League America figures that DC Collectibles has released for the New 52 line, this one is the most articulated of the bunch so far. But let's go over the articulation real quick. She can turn her head left and right. She has a little bit of up and down movement. Her up movement is pretty restricted though by the hair, which is a plastic sculpted on the top of the head, basically. So it does restrict her looking up for the most part. Arms are on a ball hinge joint, so she can get her arm out good, and she's got good rotation. She's got a bicep swivel, single hinged elbow, so she can bend her elbow about that much, and then she's got the swivel at the glove cuff. No hinges on the wrist or anything. No midsection articulation, no ab crunch of any kind. Legs are on those ball joints, so she can do the splits about that much. And she can get her legs forward about that much, so pretty good forward movement, and then out and back. Actually, she can get it pretty straight back without too much of a problem. No thigh swivel on this figure. Single hinged knee, but she can bend her knee pretty good. And then she has a swivel at the boot cuff, and she has a hinge on the ankle, so she has some up and down movement on the foot. No pivot, but does have pretty good up and down movement. And then this one has 2 peg holes on the bottom of her feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, like I said before, I don't find anything terribly bad about this figure, but at the same time, I don't really find it terribly exciting either. But definitely, I think if you've been collecting the New 52 Justice League America figures and you want to complete your team, I definitely think you'll want to pick this one up, and she fits in good with the other figures for the most part. So from that standpoint, I think this is definitely one you want to add to your collection. This figure is hitting shelves now at comic and specialty shops, so if you want to add it to your collection, start looking now. And that's my review. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.